I have really missed being able to camp like this. I've had the rain fly on since I've been back out here, post Mississippi, and the entire time on the Mississippi because we just had such unsettled weather.
That couple yesterday at the water station, they were asking me if I slept with just like Cowboy camped and slept out. And I was telling them I've done that a lot and I really enjoy it. However, I don't carry a ground cloth. This tent is durable enough on the bottom, the Nemo Hornet, where I don't need one. So, in order to really cowboy camp, I need to have a ground cloth. That's extra gear. And this tent, it's very useful in cases where there's bugs, there's weather, etc. So, that's why you always see me in the tent. And this tent only takes like 30-40 seconds to set up. It's one of the things I really like. I tend to move around in my sleep, so if I just put my sleeping pad out and I sleep on it, I'll wake up, like this or up or down, and I don't want to ruin my nice Western Mountaineering sleeping bag that way. I have noticed with the wilderness class that cowboy camping is one of those big psychological things. People want to be enclosed, want to have some sort of a space. I made a joke about there was this old Dilbert cartoon where they were replacing the cubicles with just like cubes that went over their head to save money, and get a little cat tent, put your head in it, you'd get the comfort of the enclosure. I really enjoy sleeping out. I love sleeping out, just being able to stare up at the stars and things like that. To accomplish that without having to worry about, trying to only go out when there was good weather, et cetera, et cetera. I used to carry a bivy. First time I did the JMT / Theodore Solomon, that's all I did. I had a bivy. They're great because you can fold them down so your head is out, your bottom is enclosed. So I'd normally use that with a quilt to kind of add a little warmth, etc. And then if any weather happens, all you have to do is flip the top up and you're good. Now, I switched back to the tent when I started doing the long distance thing, just like I switched from the quilt back to the mummy bag. Mostly just due to comfort. The mummy bags are a lot more kind of secure and, comfortable feeling. It's like wrapping yourself up in a blanket. You don't kind of come out of them if it's cold. And I find it has a little bit more of a temperature range. Summer, you see me and I'll have my quilt and my bivy out. As far as the bivy's great. I love the bivy. However, it does have drawbacks in things like mosquito season because when there's bad mosquitoes, you'll see Jen and I get in here and we'll murder all the mosquitoes so we don't get like sucked dry all night. Hard to do in a bivy because you can't access anything below you. I am having some foot and pack rash issues, unfortunately, so I may stick closer to 15 miles instead of pushing beyond. Yesterday was just frustrating, though, because I thought I got out of camp relatively early, and it turned out that there'd been a time change. As of this morning, I have a little under 600 miles left, meaning I've done 2470 or something like that since Canada. So I'm not in a super hurry. It looks like I've got the weather window I need to get down, even if I just crawl along at 15 miles a day. At the moment, I'm just kind of going to try and deal with the pack rash and the foot issues and do more miles when I can do more miles. I do get highly frustrated that I'm not like doing solid 25-mile days and then I hit like foot and pack issues just because I'm like, really? Shouldn't I be better than this? Hence why I have the hat that, world's most okayish through hiker. Helps me keep in the right mind space. And here comes the sun. I usually don't worry overly much about having a view from my tent since I'm just there at night and working on other stuff, but oh, this is nice. I see so many people who set up their tents up on ridges with awesome views and things, and then talk to them the next morning and they're like, yeah, I didn't sleep at all, the wind was horrible. As I've mentioned, I've spent a lot of time climbing peaks out in the desert. Something about the shape of a lot of them that just looks like it'd be cool to go climb up. Problem can be a lot of them have really rotten rock, and there's nothing like doing a third-class move on something where rocks are being pulled off left and right. I went for a little more wind protection back here. Just me and the coyotes. Well, I thought it was just me and the coyotes. I basically lucked out and managed to set up just perfectly in the shade here. Otherwise, I probably would have been driven out a little faster. I've also been getting like stink eye from the hunters over there. Seems to be like two kinds of hunters out there. Some come up and they're like really into the outdoors and they like hiking, talking to hikers, and then others seem to view us as like hippies that they would rather go away. I'm actually behind on my edits here. I've had reception and I keep getting news from back in civilization and it keeps being like bad news. Apparently when I was all alone and injured, I should have just dropped my pants and dug a cat hole, because that seems to be the guaranteed way to get people to show up. Today at least, the water carriers are not unreasonable. Quite frankly, with how mild it's been, it makes me almost want to dump some of my gear. You know, I've got rain pants and a couple of warmer layers that I haven't needed the last couple of days, but I pack for the storms, not for the mild days. It is absolutely going to get really cold again. This has just been a bit of a break in a warming trend. Though, as I get further south, I do believe I leave behind the last of the altitude. Thanks to my friend Dennis, I've got a new stove that will hopefully be waiting for me at Grant's when I get there. I'm already picking up a post office box, so I both love those stoves and I'm frustrated that I have to replace them once a year. I'm emailing their tech support to see if there's any suggestions again, but I kind of worry it's just my usage. I was also hoping the pack rash and foot issues would hold off, but oh well. I seem to always have stuff like that no matter what I try, so is what it is. I need to get that patch that says hashtag team just not good at this, but too stubborn to stop. Now that's downright fancy. Huh. So this is a water source some people said they couldn't see. I've been checking them and updating far out just for grins. This one's, you could collect some, but it would be rough. We're talking Ziplocs out of cow tracks. Okay. Yeah, the source is nothing. Looks like at least some water leaks out of this pipe sometimes, but yeah. And welcome to pretty much every hike I've done. Dang it. I just seem to be having a day here. Bad news from town, back rash, foot issues, even my Achilles is bothering me after I stepped on a rock back there. Worse than usual. Oh well, I'll just go at whatever speed I can go. I can always stretch food if I need. I have a water source in another 5 miles. Then I climb up on what I presume is that mountain range to the right. And there is a water source up there, at which point that starts the 24-mile dry carry. So that's going to be the fun one. I was hoping to be doing 24 miles a day by the time I got there. And maybe this stuff resolves. If not, I'll just have to go heavy and limp along. And unfortunately, at this rate, this is probably going to be my last water stop for the day. And a little buggy, but better than the cow trough. And once again, I'm starting to get that arch issue. I always seem to have major issues at like 500 to 700 miles of any given trip. And I've come about 600 since starting in Colorado. So I could have filtered out of this. I have filtered worse. However, it looked like it was going to clog things a little bit more. Kind of hard to get into the hiker groove with all the issues today, but is what it is. Whenever I have days like this, I usually just try and tell myself just get to the tent at the end of the day. Tomorrow is a completely different day. So I drank about 2.5 liters, filled up all my hard-sided bottles, so I've got 4 liters on my back, basically a gallon's worth of water. I only have to make it 9 miles. If I wasn't kind of limping along here, I would consider carrying less and just get to the spring tonight, but I'm kind of going on plan B here. Just do another 5 miles or so, halfway there, set up for the night, in the morning get to that spring, and then there is the longer haul. I'm still kind of debating back and forth how much water I'm going to carry, since I don't know if I can make full miles. I mean, I was figuring that 24 miles would basically be mostly done in a day. If I'm not able to make that, if I'm just doing like 15 a day, some of these water carries are going to get a little more difficult. So today I crossed that. I was working those ridges, coming off of that ridge on the far side of Cuba. That is that cool peak I could see from camp last night and this morning. Yeah, that's fun with a gallon on my back. I finished the 2,000 foot climb back up to 8K. I've been limping, going slow. I should have been another, 2-3 miles on, but I'm just going to have to hope that I can do better with my shoes tomorrow. I'll switch to my only other pair of clean socks and just got to see. I think setbacks like this have happened on every major through hike I've done. And every time it frustrates me and I kind of rage against being held back, because I love being out here and I just want to hike. And it's like I didn't do anything that should have triggered this. I've never been able to diagnose the arch issue. It seems like it comes and goes. When I started the CDT, I was good for up until past the Butte Anaconda thing. And then out of nowhere, my shoes like just melted down on me, or my the soles of my foot. And then a couple hundred miles after that, I was fine and booking right along. The extra frustrating thing right now, other than shouldn't I be better than this, is just the water carry situation. Once I hit this next water source, it's a 24-mile dry carry. That's not the last one. And if I'm like at 14 miles right now. That's going to make that carry kind of bad. I'm basically figuring if this is how it's going to be, I'm just going to have to, fill up with the full 7 liters. This sucks. But hey, tomorrow's another day. Home sweet home. Kind of like the other night. Really dry, loud wind.